Hi. In this session, we're going to talk about your marketing position statement. Now, I know that many of you are thinking, oh, yeah, that just sounds like marketing speak. I don't really need that. But honestly, if you have a business, you need a position statement because more than anything else, a good position statement answers one very important question. Why should I buy from you? That's really what it's all about. Now, you may think that creating a brand position is something that you do and you control, but not really, because your brand exists in the mind of your customers. It's really about what they think about you, what they think you represent, what they think you provide. And so, as you're working on your brand position statement, remember that you're going to be defining it and you're going to try to influence people to think of you that way. But at the end of the day, the real measure of success is whether or not your customers see you the way you want to be seen. To create a brand position statement, there are three pieces. The first is who is your customer? What is their problem or need? And how are you uniquely qualified to solve their problem? As you start working on this, remember this is not advertising copy. It's an internal definition of who you are, of who your company serves, and what you provide. It will influence your marketing, but it is not marketing. And so we're going to walk through of that process. The first thing is you have to start with your customer and you have to think about who is your ideal customer. Lots of people are going to buy from you, but what types of individuals do you really like? Do you really enjoy working with? And what types of companies or individual businesses or people do you think you provide a really great value for? The more specific you can be in this description, the more relevant all of your marketing is going to be. This is not going to prevent you from selling to somebody else who comes along with money, but it really defines in a perfect world, this is who I want to be talking to. Because once you do that, once you define who your ideal customer is, it's much easier to then define their pain points. As you're thinking about your customers' pain points, think about what keeps them up at night. To write a relevant positioning statement, you need to look at the world through their eyes. So as you're thinking about your target customers, think about what causes them pain. I had a financial planner once tell me that the most important thing that he provided his customers were choices. And I thought to myself, I don't think so. That's a nice feature, but I don't think your customers are laying awake in bed at night worrying about not having enough choices. They're worried about not having enough money for retirement or their kids' education, but they're not worried about the fact that they might not have two alternative plans. And so you really need to stop looking at the world through the lens of your business and look at it through the lens of your customers. The second piece is then matching your products and services to that need. Because once you understand what it is that's important to your clients, you can begin to think about how you really solve them. So on a piece of paper, list out, this is what my customers' needs are, and these are the things I can provide that will help them get closer to a solution. The next piece of this is the hardest, and it's looking at what do your competitors do well. Because if you're going to write a great position statement for your business, it's not just about what you do, but about how you do it differently and better than anyone else. Because otherwise, you don't have an answer to that really important question: why should I do business with you? And so you really need to take a good, hard look at your competitors and really look at who is their target customer, who is yours, what advertising and marketing are they using, what are their services, and then most importantly, what's their expertise, what do they do really well, and what don't they do well. And here's the thing: if you do this chart and you fill it all out and you just give yourself A pluses across the board and you don't really give your competitors credit, it may make you feel good in the short run, but it's not going to help you sell. The most important thing you can do is really understand what your competitors do well and how you do it differently, and why your solution may not be best for everyone, but it is best for that segment of the population that is your ideal client. That's one of the things that when I was running an agency, I really came to understand. There were things we did that worked really well for our clients. But our larger competitors didn't do it that way. They had bigger systems and bigger processes, and they were able to do things that maybe we couldn't do. But for a subset of the total marketplace, business owners who really wanted an intimate relationship with their agency and a little bit of input into what was really happening, the larger, more impersonal agencies weren't a good fit. And that became one of our biggest selling features. Why should I do business with you? Well, if you're looking for that personal touch, that's something we can provide. So figure out what your customers want, what you do differently. And then you can begin to figure out where you fit. As you review your services and compare them to your competitors, think about what's unique in the way that you deliver it. And one more thing I want to say before I leave the topic of your competitors is be very careful about choosing price as a variable to compete on. Well, we have the lowest price. That's a trap, because someone can always come along and go lower. And if that's what you built your entire business on, you're going to get caught in a death spiral as you try to undercut, and then someone else comes along and undercuts you. It is not a sustainable business model unless you really have a lock on the most cost-effective solution, and very few businesses can say that. Consider characteristics like expertise, simplicity of doing business, speed of your delivery as possible differentiators. And so then you need to put all the pieces together. And it's really like a Mad Libs fill in the blank. My target customer is, they want or are frustrated by, and we help them by providing a unique solution. Go ahead and try writing that down and then let it sit for a few days. Very often, I find when I work with companies developing their position statement, the first draft tends to be wordy, broad, boastful, filled with industry jargon. Leave it sit for a couple days and then go back with the idea of simplifying. Eliminate unnecessary words. Use customer language instead of industry jargon. Focus on issues that are really relevant to your customer. Make sure it's unique, and be sure that you can actually substantiate the claims and the promises that you make. And that's really how you go about building a position statement. If you're interested in a worksheet that will help you actually write your position statement, there'll be a link in the episode notes below. Go ahead and click on it and get a copy and start working on your position statement.